Hi, good evening everybody. In this video I want to show you an article that I seen in The Athletic. Pretty damn good one, especially for you history buffs. Let's take a look at it, coming up. Hey, look, it's no matter what's happening coming up this month, we know the big thing for Sabres fan is RJ this month, you know, the final month of his career. And I'm sure, again, he's going to be in the house from time to time. I'm sure often, actually, you know. But I seen an article today I was reading. I said, you know what, I'll make a video on this. This is a good one, I think. And it goes on his take on the retired numbers in Buffalo and just his take on some stories that RJ talked about with these guys. So it's another article, John Vogl. It's always Vogl, I mean, in The Athletic, so I guess you guys know that already. But this, for you RJ fans, I think is a good one that you might enjoy. So let's take a look at this. I want to keep this moving fast, guys. It's been a long day. I'll get into that in a later video, the updates I have. And I'm going to wing right into it and keep it moving as quick as possible. So I got to stop yakking. Let's do this. All right, first clip, here we go. Rick Jeanneret will have a banner night in Buffalo on Friday. Here are his stories on other Sabres legends. I love this old stuff, I just do, you know? Maybe I'm getting old, guys, maybe I'm getting old. A lot of memories. All right, first clip, we're gonna look at Tim Horton. Here we go. What I remember most about Tim Horton is coming into a hotel when we were staying on the road. I'd be going out and having a beer with Ted Darling or something, and Tim sitting in the lobby. He liked to do what he called lobbying it up. He would just sit there, and he was the fountain of information. Whatever you needed, just stop by, talk to Tim for a moment, and he'll straighten you out. He was the ultimate seer. Let me put it that way. He seemed to relish the role. He enjoyed it very, very much. Now, of course, on the ice, he was something else. I remember Larry Playfair telling me a story one time about a brawl with, oh, hey, why not? It would be the Philadelphia Flyers, of course. Larry Carrier was in a battle with Don Selesky, and he was on the bottom. Selesky was on the top. Tim came skating over, grabbed Selesky by the back of the neck and the seat of his pants and just threw him into the corner. He bent down to Carrier and said, now, rookie, am I going to have to do this with you all season long? He was so strong, Horton, you can just picture him doing it. And you can picture how he would have carried the Coke machine in one of the hotels from one floor to another. I do remember that time. Apparently the machine on his floor was out of pop, so he went down to the next floor, picked up a Coke machine, and carried it onto the elevator, and then took it up and plugged it in on his floor. Can you imagine that? Those things were big, particularly when they had product in them. God, man. I tell you, the guys in the 70s were nuts, eh? They were just, it was such a crazy era. That's just crazy, you know? The guy said, wow, the Coke machine's not working. I'm gonna go get the machine and bring it up here. Jesus. All right, let's keep it rolling. Here we go. Rick Martin. Okay, here we go. I guess I could tell you the tale out of school here. We were in Boston one time. I was having lunch. It was game day. Rico came in and said, can I sit down with you? I said, sure you can. He sat down, we were talking, and he ordered a beer. I thought, well, this is a little different. We're going to be playing in a couple of hours, but whatever turns your crank. I specifically mention it because obviously my eyes must have widened when he ordered the beer. He said, you know, over here, we're so protected. In Europe, this is nothing. People go in and have wine with their lunch. And he's right, but I'd never seen it done in the National Hockey League. I guess that's why I was a little bit shocked. I never saw him do it again either. Funny to think, eh? That he just knew all these guys. God. And let's keep it rolling. Here we go. Gilbert Perreault. Okay. Gilbert, Big Bert, in those days, I went to practices and things like that. I remember being down at ice level and watching him skate. It looked to me like he was so bow-legged and he had just stepped off a horse. He reminded me of cowboys, but he had an incredibly powerful stride as a result of his skating style. Just ask any defenseman in the league, all the ones that tried to catch him and couldn't. Another time I recall is when the French connection of Perreault, Martin, and Robert was flying. The All-Star game was in Buffalo. Perreault and Martin were together. Bobby Clarke was playing on the other team, and I was down behind Clarke's bench. Fred Sherrill was coaching the All-Stars, and Clarke came back to the bench after a shift against Perreault and Martin. Sherrill said something to him, and Clarke turned around and said, "If you think you can catch those buggers, you get out there and try to do it." They were just darting all over the ice, and of course, in front of the home crowd, they were putting on a show. And, well, of course, Perreault was my hero, you know. It's just, I remember that. Perreault scored in overtime. I remember. Okay, Rene Robert, here we go. Probably the most exuberant of all of them, other than Gilbert, with his singing. Rene kind of let it all hang out. His heart was on his sleeve. He scored some big goals. I remember me chirping Rene Robert in the fog on the goal that won the game. When they first put him on the line, everybody said, "Oh, it's not going to work. He can't go with those two guys." Rene was a very smart hockey player, Whatever he might have been lacking in physical ability, he made up for it with what was above his shoulders. He fit in very, very well. I can't imagine a French connection without Rene Robert, eh? God. Okay, next on the list, Pat LaFontaine. Here we go. Let me open it. All right. To this day, I refer back to a story that's got nothing to do with hockey. When I was undergoing treatment for cancer, I heard from Patty, if not every day, every second or third day. He'd check in with me to make sure that I was doing okay and that if I needed anything. Well, I never needed anything, but what I was getting from him was a great boost. He was all part of the treatment process, and I appreciated that very, very much. And I say that to you rather than getting into his hockey playing abilities, which were top-notch. What a nice story that is. I didn't know that till I read this article today. I really didn't know that, guys. I had no clue Pat LaFontaine was keeping in touch with RJ when RJ was fighting cancer. I just didn't know. That is... God, I already love LaFontaine. I love him more now, hearing that. God. Okay, next, Danny Gare. Okay. Tickets. I don't know what they call them if it wasn't tickets. It was certainly apropos the nickname. He was the toughest little son of a gun I think I ever saw. I'm thinking of him taking on Ben Wilson. God, I hated that guy. I hated Ben Wilson. For instance, in Philly, Wilson towered over him at 6'3" versus 5'9", and it didn't faze him. He was firing punches like crazy, and Wilson was fending them off. I mean, he could hardly get one in return. One thing he never did was back down despite his stature. He surprised a lot of guys in this league, and we're talking when he was playing with those are the tough days. And we're talking when he was playing, those are the tough days. The more tough guys you had in the lineup, the more successful you seemed to be. Witness the Broad Street Bullies. In addition to being a great hockey player and a phenomenal goal scorer, just the toughest little son of a gun I ever saw play the game. You know, it's funny, when I was growing up, guys, I'm just going to touch on these players a little bit here and there. I just never noticed Danny Gare being 5'9". I just, you know, I think of it now and it's weird. You know, to me, he was like 5'11" back when I was a kid, you know, it's weird. Okay, and let's close it up. The Dominator, Dominic Hasek, here we go. Oh, hold on, I messed up, guys. Okay, I'm with you. I don't know how many times I've said this, and I can put exclamation marks all over the place right after it. But while he was in Buffalo, in a Buffalo uniform, I never in 51 years saw a better goaltender. He was absolutely amazing. It was his attitude. Okay, boys, get one, they won't get any. Or we need one more, guys, and don't worry about it after that. And it came to pass every time he got into that situation, he was absolutely incredible. He made the kind of saves that not only did it give his bench a boost, it lowered the other bench. You could see them just thinking, how do you get one by this guy? Well, you don't, obviously. I remember a story that for some reason sticks in my mind. We were in Boston on the bus on the way to the game. Everybody's there except Dom. Well, there's some players you might leave behind and tell them they have to take a cab, but Dom, no. You waited for Dom. He came strolling out of the hotel with a baseball bat over his shoulder. I was thinking, what the heck is this all about? Next clip. Okay. Apparently he ran into Tom Glavine. Whether he had asked Glavine for a bat or Glavine had just given him one, I'm not too sure, but here he is on his way to take on the Bruins, and it was a beautiful day. I remember that, so it might have been in the playoffs. And he was just strolling along like, of course I've got a baseball bat. What else would I be carrying? He was great. He was just great. They all were. That includes Jenneret, which is why he's joining them in the Rafters. That's just a special moment, he said. But yes, I did know them all for sure. God, never dawned on me to this article. It's true, he was friends with all those guys in the Rafters too, because he's been there from the start. It's crazy. It just is. I wanted to share that with you guys because I know RJ's around the corner, his big night, not his last night, but his big night, his well-deserved big night, I might add. And, I grew up as a kid, guys, listening to Danny Gallivan and Dick Irvin out here in Montreal, and I didn't have the privilege of what you guys as kids dealt with. And don't get me wrong, I loved Danny Gallivan and Dick Irvin growing up as a kid. I did, even though I detested the Habs. I always loved these guys, especially Danny Gallivan, but I can't imagine how it must have felt for you guys as kids growing up, and you're listening to, RJ going over your favorite team, not a team that you hated like I did. It's just, I just can't imagine the feeling. I can't. So I got, thank God for the internet. Thank God for, cable situations, everything on TV got bigger and better. And I got to hear RJ more and more and more as the years rolled on in my life. And it's, of course, RJ's like the man. There's no doubt about it, right? And just his simplicity, whatever turns up your crank. Just the mentality. The guy is such a, he's, you can't find, I believe, any color commentator that loved the team more for any franchise in the NHL but RJ. On that note, folks, I'm going to close it there. I got other videos coming at you. See you in those. Have a good one.